Hello friends, today we will see the layer-wise functionalities of the OSI layer. We know that OSI model comprises of the 7 layers. Why 7 layers? It has 7 layers to reduce the complexity. The networks are organized as a stack of layers, one below the other. It reduces the complexity in transferring the data over the network. This concept of having a stack of layers is very much similar to that of the functions which we use in the programming languages, because functions does have the specific task. Similarly here also, the all 7 layers of the OSI model has their own specific tasks, and it provides the service to the adjacent layer. This is the diagrammatic representation of the OSI layer, wherein we can see the bottommost layer is the physical layer, data link layer, network layer, transport layer, session layer, presentation layer, and the topmost layer is the application layer. This is the layered approach of the OSI model, wherein we can see here we can only see the 5 layers and not the 7 layers. When we see that if the two hosts are communicating amongst each other, then how the transfer of the data takes place and how that every layer has to be abided by a set of rules, that is abided by the set of protocols. Here in this figure, peer is what? Peer is nothing but that entity comprising the corresponding layers on different machines. That means the entity which is communicating on two different machines here are considered as the peers. It is the peer that communicates by using protocol. Now, it is very necessary to know that data is not directly transferred from layer N of one machine to the layer N of another machine. Each layer passes data control information to the layer immediately below it until the last layer is reached, until the lowest layer, that is the physical layer, is reached. And then actual data transfers takes place from the last layer, that is the physical layer. Now we will see layer-wise functionalities. Physical layer. This is the first and the bottommost layer of the OSI reference model. It mainly provides the bit stream transmission. Okay. It also characterizes the media type, connector type, and the signal type to be used for the communication. Basically here, the raw data in the form of bits are converted into signals and are exchanged over this layer. Data encapsulation is also done as this layer. The sender end and the receiving end should be in synchronization, and the transmission rate in the form of bits per second is also decided at this layer. It provides a transmission interface between the devices and the transmission media, and also the type of topology to be used for the networking along with the type of transmission node required for transmission is also defined at this physical layer. Data link layer. Data link layer is the second layer from the bottom of the OSI reference model. This layer has the main function to perform the error detection and combine the data bits into frames. Here at this data link layer, it combines the raw data into bytes and bytes into frames and transmits the data packets to the network layer of the desired destination host. At the destination end, the data link layer receives the signal, decodes it into frames, and delivers it to the hardware. Here, MAC addresses plays a very important role. because data link layer supervises the physical address system called the MAC address for the networks and handles the access of the assorted network components to the physical medium. Here at this layer, only the error detection is done and not the error correction. The error correction is done at the transport layer. Network layer. The network layer is the third layer from the bottom, and this layer has the accountability to accomplish the routing of data packets from source to destination host between the inter and intra networks operating on the same or different protocols. It is only responsible for delivery of individual packets, and it does not recognize any relationship between those packets. So basically the network layer is responsible for routing of the data from source to destination. Next is the transport layer. This layer is responsible for destination delivery of the entire message. That means the entire message which needs to be delivered from source to destination, this layer takes care for that. It ensures that the data received at the end will be in the same order in which it was transmitted. What does it mean? It means that at the receiver's end, the bit by bit delivery of the data of the original message should take place, so that whatever the message is received at the receiver's end should be same as that at the sender's end. This transport layer uses two types of the protocols, that is a TCP, transmission control protocol, and the UDP, user datagram protocol. Firstly, the transmission control protocol is a connection oriented protocol which is also considered as a very reliable protocol in case of the wireless networks. The UDP protocol, user datagram protocol, is also a connectionless protocol, but it is sometimes considered as the unreliable protocol because once the data is transmitted between the hosts, the receiver does not send any acknowledgement of receiving those data packets. That's why it is sometimes considered as the unreliable protocol. The session layer. Session layer permits the users of different platforms to set up an active communication session between themselves. That means it maintains, it synchronizes, it establishes the interaction among the two different communicating parties who wants to transfer their data over the network. And the main function of this layer is dialog control and the synchronization. What dialog control is? Dialog control is nothing but it allows two systems to enter into a dialogue wherein they keep track of whose turn it is now to transmit the data. And the second one is the synchronization, which adds checkpoints into a stream of data. Next is the presentation layer. Broadly, this layer has four responsibilities: translation, compression, encryption, and decryption. Translation is like as different computers uses different encoding systems. So this layer convert data into common format before transmitting from one end to the other. Compression is nothing but it reduces the bit size of the data to be transferred. Encryption is nothing but converting your human acceptable language into intelligent format, and that is done at the end of the sending authority. It is done just to maintain the security of the data. And then at the receiver's end, the decryption is done. That is, the unintelligible format of the message is then converted into the human acceptable format. Now, the application layer, which is the topmost and the seventh layer of the OSI reference model, this layer will actually communicate with the end users and the user's application. And for this, it contains the protocols that allows the user to access the network. The different protocols can be FTP, which is a file transfer protocol, HTTP, SMTP, simple mail transfer protocols, and etc. This layer does not include application programs such as email, browsers, word processing applications, and etc. So this was all about the layer-wise specification of the OSI model. Thank you.